Okay, so for those of you interested in, really innovative ways culture gets passed on through education, we've got a fascinating deep dive today.
Hmm.
We were looking into the Sarah J. Summer School for 2025.
Hmm.
It's specifically for Tibetan kids and teenagers who are living outside Tibet. And honestly, it seems quite different from your standard summer program.
Oh, absolutely. What really jumps out from the sources, I think, is the mission behind it. It's really profound. They're trying to create this nurturing educational space, right, to empower these Tibetan kids abroad,
Right?
giving them a chance to really connect with their language, their culture, history, and also the basics of Buddhism and meditation.
Yeah.
And this is key. It's guided by certified meditation masters.
Well,
So yeah, the mission isn't just some statement. It feels like a really active response to, the diaspora experience, the risk of losing that cultural connection. It's like a lifeline almost.
a lifeline, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a powerful way to put it. It's about keeping that heritage alive for
Mm.
kids maybe straddling two different worlds. And thankfully, we've got some really good detailed info schedules, practical stuff for attendees, all that. So let's unpack it. Maybe start with the basics. Who's it for? What's the time frame?
Okay, so the target group is very clear. Tibetan children and teenagers aged 8 to 17.
Great, 8 to 17.
And the program itself, it's a solid block, 3 weeks long, runs from July 7th to July 31st, 2025.
July 7th to 31st. Got it.
There are specific times too. Arrival is July 7th, 2:00 p.m. sharp at the Sarah J. Summer School head office. And then orientation kicks things off the next day, July 8th, over at the Sarah J. Tashi Choling Auditorium.
Okay, so they arrive, they get settled. What about where they're actually staying? What have our sources told us about the accommodation? And does it tie into the program's goals?
Yeah, it does seem thought through. They stay at the Tashi Choling Center, and the setup is interesting.
Hmm.
Max 2 participants per room,
Okay.
and each room gets its own bathroom, Western-style toilet included. But here's the connection you mentioned. This setup, sharing rooms, is apparently quite deliberate. It's designed to help boost their spoken Tibetan.
Ah, makes sense. More opportunities to actually use the language.
Exactly. You're rooming with someone, you're encouraged to chat in Tibetan. It builds that immersive environment outside of the formal lessons. It's sort of a subtle teaching tool, really.
Yeah, that's clever. Very practical.
Mm.
So beyond just chatting in the rooms, what about the formal curriculum? Sounds like it's pretty rich.
Oh, it really is. Language is definitely a big piece. They've got Tibetan calligraphy, both for beginners and more advanced students,
Mm-hmm.
plus Tibetan grammar and composition, again, tiered for different levels.
Okay, so language is central.
Definitely. But it weaves into everything else. They dive into cultural practices, get hands-on with Tibetan performing arts, think traditional dances, musical instruments. Yeah. And Buddhism is central too, focusing on the teachings, core values, principles. It's interesting the source mentions the calligraphy and grammar again here under Buddhism and values, almost emphasizing how interlinked it all is.
So the language isn't just language, it's tied into the art, the spirituality.
Precisely. Like, calligraphy isn't just writing, it's presented as almost a meditative practice, connecting them to centuries of tradition.
And it's not all just sitting in a classroom, right? You mentioned trips.
Correct. They integrate cultural trips and excursions, which gets to your point earlier, it's about immersion.
So that hands-on approach,
Mhm.
how much difference do you think that makes compared to, say, reading about history in a book?
Well, the implication from the sources is it makes a huge difference. It's about moving beyond just like intellectual knowledge. When a kid learns a traditional dance by doing it or visits a significant place, it creates a connection that's more, well, more visceral, more felt
Embodied,
emotionally.
maybe.
Yeah, embodied is a good word. It
Yeah.
makes the heritage feel real, lived, not just something abstract they learned about. Creates stronger memories too, you'd imagine.
Absolutely. Okay, so if you're a parent sending your child, there are some practical things to get ready for, especially given the timing. What's the advice?
Right. Monsoon season is a big factor, so definitely pack full rain gear. That means raincoats or umbrellas, proper boots essential.
Good tip. Anything else on the packing list or rules?
Yeah, the electronics policy is pretty strict. Basically, only a simple cell phone is okay.
Just a basic one.
Yeah, and even that has to be handed over to the staff when they arrive. All other gadgets, tablets, gaming devices, laptops should be left at home.
Wow, okay. That's quite a statement in this day and age. What do you think that says about what they want the kids to experience?
I think it screams be present.
Yeah,
They clearly want the focus to be on interaction, on the learning, on the cultural experience itself, without kids constantly being pulled away by screens.
Yeah, fostering real connection. Makes
Yep.
sense. What about health stuff? Medical care.
Okay, so minor issues, things like small scrapes or colds, can be handled by the Sarah J. Healthcare Center on site.
Right.
But, and this is important for parents, any major medication needs or costs for referrals to specialists, that's the parent's responsibility.
Okay.
And a key piece of advice tied to that: parents should talk to their own doctors before the trip to get any necessary prescription refills sorted out for the whole 3 weeks.
Good practical advice. And bugs, always
Yeah.
a consideration in that region, especially during monsoon.
Yep, they're aware. The sources say they try to equip the rooms with mosquito prevention stuff, but they also strongly advise kids bring and consistently use their own mosquito repellent.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry.
Definitely.
Oh.
Okay, paperwork. What do parents need to send in or kids need to bring?
There's a bit of admin. Parents need to provide an authorization letter, specifically allowing their child to participate in weekend activities and outings.
Okay.
Also need copies of the child's travel documents, their flight itinerary, and proof of medical insurance if they have it.
Standard stuff. Anything else?
Yes, one key detail: passports. They need to be handed over to the school upon arrival.
Hand it over.
Yeah, for safekeeping, presumably. They get returned at the very end of the program.
Interesting. And dress code. Any specific requirements?
They just ask for appropriate attire, generally, but they do mention Lakar White Wednesday.
Ah, yes, Lakar.
Right, which is a day many Tibetans use to consciously express their identity. So they encourage kids to bring at least one set of traditional Tibetan clothes, a chuba, for those days.
That's a lovely touch, incorporating that practice. What if getting the child to the school is a challenge for parents?
They seem prepared for that. The sources mention travel assistance is available. If parents are struggling with the logistics of getting their child there, the coordinator can step in and help make arrangements.
That's helpful.
Though it's important to note the parents still cover the actual travel costs involved.
Right. The assistance is logistical, not financial for the travel itself. Okay. That brings us nicely to the financials, which is, well, it's pretty remarkable based on our sources.
It really is. You'd look at this whole package: 3 weeks, accommodation, food, all the activities, the expert instruction.
You'd expect a hefty price tag.
Exactly. But the source material states very clearly that participation is entirely free for the kids.
Entirely free.
Apparently, the core costs, it's the travel during the program, accommodation, food, all the program activities are covered by the Sarah J. Central Administration.
Wow. That's a huge commitment.
It is. But there's a bit of nuance we need to clarify.
Ah, okay. What's the catch, if any?
Not really a catch, just 2 specific things parents do pay for. First, there's a non-refundable admission form fee. It's $100 per child.
Okay, $100.
And second, as we just touched on, parents cover the cost of getting their child to Bangalore Airport from home and then back home again after the program.
Got it. So flights and that admin fee, but the actual 3-week program itself is covered.
That's right. And thinking about this model, it's not just about making it affordable, is it? It feels like a statement.
How?
Well, by covering the core costs, it positions this not as just like a service parents buy, but more like a community investing in its next generation's cultural education. It really highlights the value they place on it.
That's a great point. It shifts the perspective. It makes you think about how different communities fund cultural preservation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a unique model, this sort of hybrid approach.
And judging by the feedback mentioned in our sources, it seems to be having a real impact.
Yeah, the response from past participants is described as overwhelmingly positive. Sources talk about kids having genuine affection for the camp, how enriching they found it, the lasting memories they made. It really sounds like it connects with them deeply.
It sounds like more than just learning facts. It's creating that emotional bond with their heritage.
That seems to be the goal and apparently the outcome, too.
So if people listening are interested, maybe they have eligible kids or just want to know more, where can they find info?
Okay, the physical location provided is Pashichuling PO, Bayakuppa 571104, Mysore, Karnataka, India.
Right, in Bailaka.
Exactly. And they also give specific WhatsApp contact details for key people: Pima Dondup, Ngawang Norbu, Tenzin Darjal, Tashi Samdup, and Set and Yankee. These cover different roles, from overall administration to program coordination.
Okay, very direct contact info there. Good. So wrapping this up then, the Sarah J. Summer School 2025 really stands out as this Unique and quite profound chance for young Tibetans abroad. It's this holistic dive into their culture, language, spiritual roots. And it's backed by this significant commitment from the Sarah J. administration, including that really interesting funding approach.
It really is a remarkable model, and it leaves you thinking, doesn't it?
I that.
About what a program structured like this, the immersion, the values, the community funding, tells us about the potential, the real power of education in preserving culture, especially for communities that are spread out across the globe. What does it truly mean, and what does it take to build these living connections back to your heritage in a world that's constantly changing and pulling us in so many different directions?
Most people know the key dates, right? Born 1935 in Taxter, Tibet, enthroned in 40, then that difficult journey into exile in India in 59, and the Nobel Peace Prize, of course, in 1989. His whole life seems dedicated to compassion, wisdom, peace. But what's really interesting is how Saraji School is like embodying that spirit, not just celebrating a birthday. Okay, let's unpack this. What really stood out to me was just how thoughtful the Saraji School's approach was, designing these distinct educational programs and connecting them so directly to his life missions.
Exactly. And when we talk about those 4 core commitments, it's helpful to remember what they are. It's about promoting basic human values, compassion, tolerance, that sort of thing, then fostering interreligious harmony, preserving Tibetan culture, especially its spiritual side, and also reviving ancient Indian wisdom, like the Nalanda tradition.
Right.
And Saraji's events, they map onto these pretty clearly.
That's such a crucial frame, because then you look at something like the Nalanda Debate School they held, November to December at the Saratashi Choling Center. And they brought in English-speaking students from, well, all over to study Buddhist philosophy, but using traditional Tibetan monastic debate. That's the really fascinating part.
It really is, because this isn't just, a chat about philosophy. Tibetan monastic debate is incredibly rigorous. It's a formal logic system. Think maybe Socrates, but much more dynamic. There are gestures, rapid fire questions.
Hides that physical aspect, too.
Right, exactly. It's all about dismantling assumptions through reason. Needs sharp thinking, good memory. So for international students to do this in English, that's quite innovative, and it ties right into His Holiness wanting to revive and share that ancient wisdom globally.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just the one thing. They also had several summer schools going. In April, there was one specifically for Monpa students. That's the second one they've done for them.
And the Monpa community, they have deep historical ties to Tibet, culturally and religiously, living mainly in the Arunachal Pradesh in India.
Right, so a very focused program on Buddhism, Tibetan language, culture, tailored for them. Then, on June 3rd, another one finished the 16th summer school. This one had 95 students from 10 different Sambodha schools.
Wow, 95 students.
Yeah, intensive classes in Buddhism and Tibetan language. And they explicitly stated this was part of the 90th birthday celebration.
And focusing on Sambodha's school students is also really significant. Those schools were set up specifically across the diaspora and Himalayan regions to keep Tibetan language and culture alive. So these programs show a deep commitment to cultural preservation. Another one of his core commitments, right?
Yeah.
Making sure the heritage thrives, even outside Tibet.
It really paints a picture of reaching out in multiple ways. And it's not just special events. They have a year-round online program, too. The Sarah J. Online School. Comprehensive Buddhist education, Tibetan language for students anywhere in the world, from beginner up to 8th grade.
Yeah, the online part is so important for accessibility, connection, especially for a diaspora community. It kind of democratizes the knowledge, Means geography isn't a barrier to cultural or spiritual learning. It's tradition meeting technology.
Exactly. And there's more. Monthly online teachings as well. These have guest speakers focusing specifically on His Holiness's 4 noble aspirations, the Thuk Gigong Pazi. Just to recap those for listeners. 1, promoting human values like compassion, forgiveness. 2, fostering interreligious harmony. 3, preserving Tibet's Buddhist culture and wisdom. And 4, protecting Tibet's environment and advocating for nonviolence. So the teachings hit those directly.
Right, reinforcing the core message constantly.
And then, sort of bringing things together, they had a special summer graduation in 2025 for the 8th graders from that online school, recognizing their work.
When you look at all these activities together, it's much more than just marking a birthday. It's a really vibrant model for how you keep culture and education alive under, challenging circumstances. That figure you mentioned, over 95 students from 10 schools in just one summer program, plus the online students. That's significant reach. And it shows this deep commitment to passing on the language, the philosophy, the traditions. It directly embodies those commitments about preserving culture, and sharing wisdom. It's active, not passive.
It's truly inspiring seeing an institution work so hard to carry that legacy forward. And the legacy itself, I mean, it's immense. The Nobel Prize in '89 wasn't just for the nonviolent struggle. He really has become a global teacher,
Absolutely.
sharing Buddhist ideas, mindfulness with millions through talks, books, and always that advocacy for peace, nonviolence, the environment, interreligious understanding.
Across all continents.
Yeah, and his words capture it so well, like, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. Simple, but profound. Or, happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own action.
Powerful reminders.
And for his 90th, on July 6, 2025, he shared a message too. He said, as I celebrate my 90th birthday, I am filled with gratitude for the countless blessings and opportunities to serve humanity. May this milestone inspire us all to cultivate greater compassion, wisdom, and understanding in our daily lives. So, okay, wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening? We've seen how the Saraje School, through these really diverse, thoughtful programs, didn't just celebrate a birthday. They became this living example of his legacy, peace, wisdom, cultural preservation.
Yeah. And maybe that leaves you with a question to think about. How can the wisdom from, a 90-year-old spiritual leader and the dedication shown in celebrating him, how might that nudge your own daily actions towards maybe a bit more understanding or compassion or peace, even in small ways? Perhaps it's just a reminder that actively engaging with knowledge, with tradition, that can really help build a more hopeful future, can't it?